Dame Dash, explained why he appeared in R. Kelly's Fiesta video, despite his later outspoken criticism of the singer. In an interview, Dash said that he never wanted to be involved with R. Kelly and was uncomfortable with the collaboration. The main reason he was present at the video shoot was because Aaliyah, and whom he was dating at the time, had a history with R. Kelly, and he wanted to be there to support her and keep an eye on things. Dash has consistently emphasized that he had reservations about R. Kelly, especially because of the relationship between Aaliyah and Kelly when she was underage. In hindsight, Dash regrets any association with R. Kelly and has since distanced himself from the situation.
So about a year back, Dr. Oz had an interview with Aaliyah's uncle, and this is what he had to say.
Years since she died in a fiery plane crash, and serious questions still linger. Was she drugged before she got on that doomed flight? What really caused this plane to nosedive back to Earth just a minute after takeoff? And how did her illegal marriage and alleged abuse by R. Kelly occur? Our show senior investigative correspondent Marski Campo has the latest.
Ever since appearing on Star Search at just 10 years old, single-name sensation Aaliyah seemed destined for greatness. She burst onto the music scene at 14 with her double platinum debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, produced by her supposed mentor, R. Kelly. Soon after, the alleged sex abuser reportedly had his tour manager get a fake ID for Aaliyah by bribing an official, changing her age to 18 so Kelly, then 27, could marry the 15-year-old. But her parents quickly had the marriage annulled, and Aaliyah reportedly broke off all ties with the singer. The Princess of R&B went on to achieve great success during her short life, making 2 more hit albums, earning multiple awards and 5 Grammy nominations. The self-proclaimed perfectionist was even the youngest person ever to perform at the Oscars in 1998. Praised as a role model by many, she's credited with helping redefine hip-hop, pop, and R&B in the 90s. The sky was the limit for the singer, dancer, and actress who was cast as the star in 2 movies and had just started filming the much-anticipated Matrix sequel. But on August 25th, 2001, at the age of just 22, Aaliyah's life was tragically cut short when her plane crashed, leaving the Bahamas after a music video shoot. Suspicions soon arose about the pilot, but her untimely death was overshadowed just weeks later by another tragedy, 9/11. Now, 20 years later, she's cited as Jane Doe #1 in the case against R. Kelly, and more questions have emerged about what really happened that fateful August day.
If you're enjoying this so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button below. We've got plenty more great content coming up, so don't miss out. Let's keep going.
Marski Campo joins us now. I want to start with the disturbing allegations that have emerged from the R. Kelly trial. What are prosecutors saying that he did to Aaliyah?
Yeah, the reason Aaliyah is part of this case is because prosecutors say she is one of the victims in a decades-long criminal enterprise led by R. Kelly, essentially for the purpose of sexually abusing underage girls. Now, during this trial, one of R. Kelly's former tour managers testified that he is the one who personally bribed a government official to get a fake ID for Aaliyah, saying that she was 18 years old when she was really 15. Why did he do that? Because R. Kelly reportedly wanted to marry her. That's what this man testified. And he said that R. Kelly wanted to marry her because he had gotten Aaliyah pregnant. And he wanted to be able to legally authorize an abortion for her as a minor at just 15 years old. And he also wanted to protect himself from prosecution.
It's reprehensible.
It's awful.
I understood the getting married part. I didn't realize there was a potential baby involved.
And he was seeking protection for himself, according to this testimony, that he didn't want to get in trouble for this pregnancy, and so he was trying to fix it.
On August the 25th, as you heard earlier, 2001, Aaliyah and 8 others died in this fiery plane crash just a minute after taking off from an airport in the Bahamas. Sadly, no one survived. Now, she'd been filming a music video just 200 miles east of Miami. A witness has since come forth claiming Aaliyah was given a pill before she got on the flight. What have you uncovered about that allegation?
Yeah, the new book, Baby Girl, reveals some new details about the final moments before that tragic accident. And according to the author, Aaliyah was sitting in a taxi as her team and the flight crew argued nearby about whether or not to take off, and she complained of having a headache. Now, reportedly, a baggage handler nearby said that someone from her entourage gave her a pill. She took the pill, and that right after, she fell into a very deep sleep. So deep, in fact, that she was carried onto the airplane still asleep and may not have even been aware that she was on the airplane. Now, we should say we don't know what that pill was. It could have been aspirin. Maybe she was just very tired from a long video shoot. And the baggage handler did say that she took it willingly. But it does reveal some new information about those final moments.
This is the whole process is so bizarre what she was living through. And I guess when you have that kind of fame that early, there are things that happen. But this did not work in her favor. After the crash, investigators determined the small plane was carrying about 700 pounds over its limit. And this is important. The center of gravity was too far back in the aircraft. The pilot must have been doing some of these calculations. Why would he risk his own life? And what do we know about him?
Yeah, according to the book, the pilot did not want to make this trip, and he reportedly argued with Aaliyah's team because he thought that it was unsafe. So he did make those calculations, and he did decide that it was unsafe. However, after protracted negotiation, they went through with that flight. Now, we did also learn some new things about this pilot. According to autopsy results, he had both alcohol and cocaine in his system.
The pilot did?
The pilot did.
Whoa.
He was not the authorized pilot for that plane, and he had just joined that company a few days prior to that flight, so he was very new with that company.
Maura, thanks as always for the great insights.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
In this next clip, here's Aaliyah's uncle being interviewed by Dr. Oz.
He's worked with everybody from Tony Braxton to Missy Elliott, and he joins us exclusively now. You started your label when no one else would support Aaliyah. Mm-hmm. What happened?
Well, it's pretty typical in the music business. She was so young that a lot of people just didn't have the foresight to envision a year or two down the road of working with someone and developing. At that time, things were pretty instant. Oh, you got an artist, let's hit a record. It's a hit, or let's put it on the radio. Where really sometimes you have to develop an artist, give them an opportunity to find what they wanted to do and who they wanted to work with.
Well, what is it that made your niece, Aaliyah, such a superstar, a one in a million find?
Oh my God, that is so difficult to answer. She had, from a little girl, she had a way that she just did things slightly different. She would view a movie slightly different. She would dress slightly different. And it was just her peers and her friends and her family were just always in awe of whatever she did. She would just come out and start singing one of her favorite songs, My Funny Valentine. And in fact, she did that on a show called Star Search. Yep. And she just was so special. We knew how special she was until she started talking about singing. I don't think any of us knew where she was headed until she actually started singing all the time and wanting to perform. And because of my profession, it just happened to be, hey, why don't we see what we can do?
About a year and a half ago, you had a stroke.
Yes.
Could have been devastating. It was pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
How did that brush with death impact how you now view the passing of Aaliyah?
Oh. Well, it kind of made me feel closer to her, to be honest with you, because when I had the stroke, it was so out of the blue and so sudden. For about an hour, I didn't know where I was. I was in some dark place, but I could feel the presence of other people. Mm-hmm. And I believed the other person was my mom. And she spoke to me and told me to get out of here and go back. And I said, Mom, is that you? I can't see you. And she said, you're not supposed to. You see me to come back. And then I looked up and I began to gather myself and realize something happened to me, but I didn't know what it was.
So you had a near-death experience. How did that color what you think Aaliyah went through as that plane was crashing a minute after takeoff?
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Believe it or not, I was thinking about her music. I was thinking about because I worked on it every day, very obsessively. So I felt like she was with my mom.
So does it make you more comfortable that Aaliyah might be there with your mom, or did you feel worse that she had to go through this as well 20 years ago?
No, I'm sure Aaliyah and my mom are in the same place. Yeah. After that experience, it's no question in my mind.
Where were you when you found out about the plane crash?
I was on my farm in Georgia, and got a call, and somebody says, "You got a long distance call? It's from the video shoot," because I knew that they were shooting a video, obviously. I ran to the phone, and I spoke to the director, Hype Williams, and he said, "Aaliyah's gone." And I was devastated. I immediately called Minister Farrakhan and asked him, could he call God? Could he talk to God? And he said, "Oh, my brother, I can do it."
It's a lot to process. They've been 20 years later.
I can never come to grips with she's gone. She's so wonderful.
If you could go back and change anything, what would you do differently? How would you protect Aaliyah?
Oh, God. That's a good, ugly question, because there's so many things and so many nights that I've stayed awake wondering if I had made a plan different, or if I had been there to the video shoot myself, if my sister had been there, if this person had been there or that person had been there, we could have helped to make a better decision on taking that airplane.
So whose idea was it for her to go down to the Caribbean to shoot this?
Hype Williams. Yeah, Hype was the director. Be very honest with you, I did not want to use Hype Williams, but there was a push from management, which is her mom, to do a video with Hype. I did not really want to work with Hype Williams. I regret that. If I could do it over again, I would not have worked with him. And I don't know where the video would have been shot. Would it have been still shot there or someplace else? But it's the first time I've ever said that. But that's what was in my heart.
Now, here is input from Jaguar Wright.
But Aaliyah, why haven't we demanded more answers? After all this time, everyone is quick to agree that something is rotten in Denmark.
So this is the interview that Jaguar did with Storm Monroe.
With that, and everyone says it even in the news reports, and yet no one has said it's time to talk to Hype Williams about why he didn't want Aaliyah to get on Lenny Kravitz's very, very, very wonderful and safe plane, to get on a janky one that he forced her on, which, by the way, she didn't get on willingly. She was drugged and carried on. Why does no one ask Hype? What was so great about that piece of shit soul plane? And why couldn't she walk on it by herself? Why did she have to be carried? Told Dame it didn't look right. Didn't understand why demands were made by the director for her to go on something that definitely didn't look better. And more importantly, what gave him the authority to tell her that she couldn't take Lenny Kravitz's plane? How are we going to talk to Hype Williams? We need to talk to Hype Williams. Absolutely. Rather than quickly tying up loose ends.
Dame Dash has recently addressed some resurfaced photos and comments regarding Aaliyah and parties they attended together with Diddy in the early 2000s. With the arrest of Diddy on serious charges, including sex trafficking, people have been speculating about celebrities who were close to him at the time. Dash has been clear that while he did attend a party with Aaliyah in the Hamptons around July 2000, he denies participating in any of Diddy's controversial freak-offs, which were alleged to involve inappropriate and immoral activities. He mentioned that he and Aaliyah simply hung out at the event and left afterward, emphasizing that nothing questionable happened during their time there. Dash has also expressed that he anticipated people playing games with these old photos, but stated that he doesn't care much about the rumors. Dash also described Aaliyah as a sacrificial lamb who wasn't adequately protected, implying that had she been safeguarded, many other girls might have been spared from Kelly's abuse. He also touched on Diddy's charges, calling the situation shocking and sad. Dame Dash has recently opened up about his feelings regarding R. Kelly's relationship with Aaliyah, which has been a long-standing source of pain for him. He has expressed that he believes R. Kelly belongs in prison for what he did to Aaliyah, referring to Kelly's illegal marriage to her when she was just 15 years old. Dash, who dated Aaliyah in the early 2000s, has said he knows what Kelly did, and that Aaliyah herself asked him to leave the issue alone, as she was just relieved to be away from Kelly. Dash has been vocal about his disapproval of those who collaborated with Kelly despite his troubling past, specifically mentioning his fallout with Jay-Z. He explained that Jay-Z's decision to work with Kelly on the album The Best of Both Worlds was a major reason for their business and personal split, as he couldn't morally support anyone connected to Kelly after what happened to Aaliyah. Aaliyah and Jay-Z had a brief romantic relationship in the late 1990s. Their connection began after they collaborated on the song The Best of Both Worlds for Aaliyah's album One in a Million, and on the track Ain't No Fun for Jay-Z's album Vault, Hard Knock Life. However, the relationship was relatively short-lived, reportedly ending due to Aaliyah's growing closeness with Dame Dash, who was also her boyfriend around that time. Despite the romantic involvement, Aaliyah and Jay-Z maintained a level of mutual respect in the industry, even after their relationship ended. Jay-Z has spoken about Aaliyah's talent and impact on his life, and he expressed his sorrow over her untimely death in a plane crash in 2001. Their brief romance and collaboration are often viewed as a part of Aaliyah's early career and Jay-Z's rise as a prominent figure in hip-hop. Aaliyah's relationship with Dame Dash was a romantic one that began in the early 2000s after she had distanced herself from R. Kelly. Dash, a co-founder of Rockefeller Records, met Aaliyah through mutual friends, and they began dating around 2000. Their relationship was serious, and Dash has often described Aaliyah as a significant and deeply loved part of his life. At the time of their relationship, Aaliyah was on the rise in the music and film industries, and Dash was supportive of her career. He has expressed that they were planning to get married before her tragic death in a plane crash in 2001. Dash has consistently spoken about his love for Aaliyah, referring to her as a good soul, and lamenting the loss of their future together. Following Aaliyah's death, Dash has been vocal about his feelings regarding the circumstances surrounding her life, including her previous relationship with R. Kelly. He has expressed anger and sadness over the experiences Aaliyah faced during her early career and has criticized those who enabled or ignored the predatory behavior of others in the industry. Aaliyah's relationship with Sean Diddy Combs was primarily professional, but it also had some romantic elements. The two were rumored to have dated briefly in the late 1990s, around the time Aaliyah was gaining fame. Diddy was a prominent figure in the music industry as the head of Bad Boy Records, and Aaliyah was signed to a different label, but they collaborated on music and attended various industry events together. Despite the romantic rumors, their relationship was not as serious as Aaliyah's later involvement with Dame Dash. Aaliyah and Diddy were seen together at parties and events, and they had a close friendship that included mutual respect for each other's careers. After Aaliyah's tragic death in 2001, Diddy expressed his sorrow and paid tribute to her memory, reflecting on the impact she had on the music industry and on those who knew her. Overall, while there was some romantic speculation, their connection was largely characterized by mutual admiration and collaboration in the music world. Aaliyah tragically died in a plane crash on August 25, 2001, at the age of 22. The crash occurred shortly after takeoff from Marsh Harbor Airport in the Bahamas, where Aaliyah and several members of her crew had been filming a music video. The small aircraft, a Cessna 402B, was overloaded and had a pilot who was not properly certified to fly the plane. It crashed just moments after takeoff, killing all 9 people on board. The investigation into the crash revealed that the plane was carrying more weight than it was designed to handle, and the pilot, Luis Morales III, had a history of drug use, which may have impaired his ability to fly. As for foul play, while there was no direct evidence of intentional wrongdoing, there have been ongoing discussions and speculation surrounding the circumstances leading up to the crash. Some have criticized the decision to use the small plane given the number of passengers and the lack of proper safety checks. The weight of the aircraft and the pilot's certification were central issues in the investigation, leading to questions about the management and decision-making of those involved in the trip. Overall, while the crash was ruled an accident, the combination of factors, including pilot error, overloading, and inadequate safety practices, contributed to the tragic loss of Aaliyah and her companions. Yes, Jaguar Wright, a singer and former backup singer, has made controversial claims regarding Aaliyah's death, suggesting that there may have been foul play involved. In interviews, she speculated that Aaliyah could have been deliberately drugged or incapacitated and then placed on the ill-fated plane. Wright's comments are based on her belief that there were powerful people in the music industry who may have wanted to silence Aaliyah due to her rising success and potential influence. She has also mentioned that the circumstances surrounding Aaliyah's death seemed suspicious, considering the high-profile nature of her career and the connections she had. However, these claims remain speculative and have not been substantiated by evidence. The official investigation concluded that the crash was an accident due to pilot error, aircraft overload, and other safety violations. While conspiracy theories often arise around the untimely deaths of celebrities, it's important to note that without concrete evidence, such claims remain unproven and part of a broader narrative of speculation and rumor in the industry.
This is Damon Dash confirming, yes indeed, Aaliyah was scared to get on that plane.
Actually saw the plane. She, had the Blackberry. She said, I don't like this plane. And I was like, well, don't get on it. And she was like, well, I got to because I got work to do. Lenny Kravitz had offered her a jet, and then Hyper took the jet. So that's what really pissed me off about the situation when I heard about that.
While talking to eyewitnesses, Ian Doley discovered that on the last day of the shooting in the Bahamas, Aaliyah refused to board the plane that was supposed to take her back to Miami, and she returned to her taxi, telling her team she had a headache. However, according to eyewitness Kingsley Russell, whose family operated the taxi company, a member of Aaliyah's entourage entered the taxi with her and gave her a pill. Shortly after, Aaliyah lost consciousness, and Russell saw how they physically carried her onto the plane. Just moments after takeoff, the plane crashed about 200 feet from the runway, killing Aaliyah and 8 other people on board. Jaguar also pointed out that as soon as Aaliyah died, Jay-Z took producer Rich Harrison from A. Marie, another artist who was a threat to Beyonce, and suddenly Beyonce and Jay-Z were on top.
These allegations have not been proven in a court of law, therefore it's alleged.
They were having a hard time taking her solo, and then Aaliyah died. And then they brought Rich Harrison in, and she liked posing with him in pictures for Page 6. Aaliyah didn't. She fell in love with Dame. And Aaliyah's gone. You have to start asking yourself questions after being in this business for this long. If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some motherfuckers keep getting?
Jaguar made those statements while being interviewed by Real Life Productions.
Another interesting detail is that years later, Beyonce and Jay-Z enlisted Hype Williams to direct their video for Drunken Love, and they filmed it in a suburb of Miami, the same city where Aaliyah filmed her very last music video. Besides that, the opening scene of Drunken Love shows Beyonce carrying a trophy with the female figure on top, which some fans interpreted as Beyonce saying she eliminated all her competition. And then we also can't forget that there were a lot of rumors back in the late 90s that Jay preyed on Aaliyah, just like his former friend R. Kelly.
I think it's pretty established now that Aaliyah was getting busy with a lot of people, not at the same time, but she went out with all these guys. At some point, she was rumored to have gone out with P. Diddy. There's Jay-Z. There is Dame Dash. And of course, we know about the R. Kelly situation. So she was mighty busy in the area of romance.
R. Kelly met Aaliyah when she was just 12 through her record-producing uncle, Barry Hankerson. Hype never explained why he made Aaliyah fly to the Bahamas despite having all the necessary resources in Miami.
So the next clip is Mary J. Blige when she was being interviewed by 106 and Park.
I don't even know what to say. I just know that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual murder, whether people know it or not. Because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people I would have to really bring proof. You know what I'm saying? For what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair. And it wasn't time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I believe it wasn't her time to go because from what I know, it ain't supposed to go down like that. And just simple obedience, like, you know, your gut always won you. Just that your gut never lies to you.
So Damon Dash and others giving us a little bit more insight into Aaliyah's life and death. And that she was greatly loved and is greatly missed.
Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest content. We've got plenty more exciting videos coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.